Hey guys, welcome back to It's 420 Somewhere. Today we're going to talk about this GOP marijuana legalization bill that has a lot of potential. So, the Democratic Party has been trying to legalize marijuana for a long time now. This is not news, everybody knows about it. But the process of legalization has gotten so murky that it's confusing as to where even the party is at. Like, we'll look at the House bill that has been passed in the House twice now, the MORE Act by Representative Nadler. That bill seems to be good and a lot of people like that, but of course it will not get past the Republicans in the Senate, no way. So it's kind of a whole bunch of nothing. It's a bunch of fluff. Then we have the Schumer bill in the Senate that is called the CAOA bill. It also does a lot of stuff. It has a pretty high tax rate, but whatever, that's kind of expected. It does a lot of expungements of records. It has a lot of reinvestment into the communities. So things that would be promising, however, again, it will not get past any Republicans because it's too sweeping. So where does that leave everybody? There was a banking bill that is almost unanimously agreed upon that there should be more banking protections allowed for marijuana companies, and that was trying to be tacked onto larger bills. But then we have the people on the Democratic side like Cory Booker saying that they don't want it attached because it's going to get in the way of their larger bill. So everything is at a standstill and it's frustrating to watch, and there really is no solution to it. The only thing that would be a solution is time, changing opinions maybe. Then we have a new bill come into place that is from a Republican. Now we've seen marijuana bills come from Republicans before, and a lot of them are very skeleton. They just kind of have marijuana legalization there and some of the funding or some of the taxes that are garnered through that going towards law enforcement, and that's about it. There's nothing dealing with the war on drugs. There's nothing dealing with expungement of records. This bill that is introduced by Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina is different, and it's actually very exciting to see because this is a potential bipartisan bill that would actually get things done. It has expungements of records from nonviolent cannabis convictions. It also would reinvest some of the taxes towards communities that were affected by the war on drugs, towards other things beyond law enforcement. So it's not just the skeleton Republican bill that we're used to seeing. Nancy Mace has created something that is truly bipartisan and could truly be exciting here and potentially good. She's recently gone on Fox News and talked about it, and this is what she says.
I try to be very thoughtful about including measures that both conservatives and Republicans, moderates and Democrats could get along with. This is a nonpartisan issue. It's 70-30 in most states across the country. A supermajority of Americans are living in states where there's some form of legalization or another where they live. This is common sense and pragmatic.
Do you smoke?
Do I smoke? Oh my goodness. Well, I have a personal story related to cannabis myself. When I was 16, I was raped. I've told this story before, but I was given prescription medication that made the feelings I had of depression worse. And I stopped taking those prescription drugs and I turned to cannabis for a brief period of time in my life. And so when I talk to veterans, this bill is particularly protective of veterans.
Good.
Ensuring that they're protected, not discriminated against, and that the VA can utilize cannabis for their PTSD and their protections for PTSD. So when I talk to vets, I feel that pain because I see that pain. It hurts because I felt that pain before in my life. And veteran suicide, we see it every single day.
So great. That's an understandable reason for creating this bill. Now, what is the reaction to it? Well, first reaction we saw, which is actually almost comical in its tone deafness, is the South Carolina Republican lawmakers releasing a statement saying they are adamantly against this, and some of the quotes in that statement are quite funny. Unequivocally, the South Carolina Republican Party is against any effort to legalize, decriminalize the use of controlled substances, and that includes this bill. Since this will have widespread negative impacts from rising crime, violence, and mental health issues in children, I think it's a safe bet to say most Republicans will be against it too. surprised they would say I think it's a safe bet, because it's actually not a safe bet. It's actually a very unsafe bet, because that's not the case. But here we are, and the South Carolina Republicans seem to be living in kind of a slightly alternative reality, and it's a little bit eye-opening to see that there are people that still believe this kind of pretty adamantly and pretty firmly. Then we have the thoughts of the Democrats, and this is where I'm getting a little bit skeptical. And this is where I'm getting a little bit skeptical and jaded about these politicians. I don't believe that many Democrats will come around to this bill, because I think they want cannabis for themselves. I think Schumer especially wants cannabis to be a Democratic issue that they solve, instead of it being a bipartisan thing. And for him especially, Cory Booker, to be able to get this on their plates, to get this win and get this point in their field, that's what they're mainly after. That's maybe just my bias showing. That's my kind of skepticism about all of politics happening. But I don't know if I can see them getting on board with this, because they're going to say that they want the marijuana bill to be more sweeping than this. They want it to do more things. They want the tax rate to be higher. This one does a lot of the main points, and in particular, it allows the states to kind of have more control than theirs would, which is actually, I see it as a plus. This bill would be doing those main things, and they can then continue to chip on the bigger sweeping parts of their bill in later years. However, I don't think that that's the argument they're going to make. I think the argument they're going to make is that they need to do everything all at once, which is what we're seeing with their reaction to the safe banking bill and not allowing that to pass. I'll be eager to hear Schumer say anything about this, what he has to say about this bill. I feel like the more and more I'm hearing, the more and more I become a proponent of Nancy Mace's bill. And we'll see what happens. We'll see, hopefully, if this gets any momentum, they'll have to come around to it. That's kind of the big news of this week. I will continue to cover any reactions to the bill and see what happens with it. So that's that. And we'll be back probably tomorrow with some more news. I'll see you then.
This is weed, pot, cannabis, Mary Jane. Ain't nothing cool about what it can do to your brain. It messes with your memory. Who are you? And when it comes to solving problems, what do I do?